Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's Mystic Minute is other people in your hologram. There are other people in your hologram. There are other people in my hologram. I've had my son from Spain visited for the last couple weeks, and it was wonderful having him here, and also allowed me to revisit all the family stuff. And there's family stuff going on right now all the time anyway, but it was a different perspective of it when he was in my vicinity. And it was a wonderful opportunity to look at the patterns playing out in his life and his brother's life and other people's lives. Now, my perspective is that I am consciousness creating this reality, so I create all of this reality down to the smallest detail. And it doesn't mean that this reality is fake, because physical reality is meant to be real. It's meant to be a full immersion experience here. You can view it as a full immersion game, because as consciousness, you don't perceive it with great seriousness or black and white, because it is. It's just a creation. It's an adventure in density and effort. And when you start to operate your life as consciousness, you start to appreciate it and see it as adventures in density and effort, a fun game in the hologram. And then when you've got family and you watch them going through the creations of their reality, when they may not have the same perspective, it can be challenging. One of the shifts I had in my reality was realizing that you can't change, fix, or manipulate the world around you. And even as I say that, I can contradict myself and go, well, I do have fun making clouds disappear or moving rain away from the area if I was going to walk my dog. But I know when I want to dive in there and change, fix, manipulate the storyline, I'm not coming from consciousness. I'm coming from my personality aspect, my little Napoleon that wants to be in control, or in this case, my being a mom and wanting to make the world a better place for my kids. My kids are 27 and 31, so they can make their own reality, and they always did. And here's where I'm meandering back to, is a realization that other people in your reality are also consciousness creating their reality, whether they're infants or adults. They are capable and creative and fully immersed in their bodies and their storylines. And if you think about it, it's actually invalidating to want to go in there and change, fix, and manipulate their storyline. It's like somebody's writing a really interesting book and it just happens to be this terrible drama tragedy, and you want it to be a romantic comedy. It's none of your business. That's third person is writing. Going in and try to edit it and all is they're creating their own life. And I will say at a certain level, the more capable of us create the more challenging storylines. Just like the more capable actor chomps at the bit to get some juicy role that requires them to gain 50 pounds and get beat up. I mean, they're gonna win an Oscar doing that. So as much as we love our children and our relatives, they have painful experiences they're going through, just like we went through painful experiences. From the perspective of consciousness, these are wonderful creative times. And the thing I know from my own difficult experiences is that I have grown emotionally. I have gained in depth and understanding. I may not have caused or created their particular storyline in the way I'd like to take responsibility for, because honestly, all I did was manufacture their bodies, which are their vehicles for this lifetime. And I gave them some driving lessons, and then they're in their cars doing their road trip through life, and their itinerary is entirely their own creation. As consciousness, they are moving through reality, really actually having fun, even when it may not appear like they're having fun, because as consciousness, difficulties are challenges, but it's fun in the way that some people have fun playing video games that I wouldn't enjoy at all. So when creating reality, it doesn't work to try to change, fix, and manipulate outside of yourself. I have found when I'm navigating or operating as consciousness, it works better to shift myself from parallel universe to parallel universe. It shifts myself into different lanes on the freeway to have a different experience in life. So it's more about shifting myself and then having a different experience around me that changes my reality. How does this apply when you want desperately to heal or make better somebody else? One of the things I figured out to do was to step into parallel universes where it was not only unfolding in my favor, but it was unfolding in everyone's favor. We were all living happily ever after. And it was interesting when I did that, because I felt this energetic shift. And normally when I play this game of moving into parallel universes, I'm doing it so it's unfolding in my favor. It's a big open-ended intention so that it's not my mind trying to manipulate it or my egoic self trying to micromanage the details of my life, but it's my greater aspect of myself, my consciousness, moving to different possibilities. And it's amazing when I do that, because it does unfold in my favor. So this one day I decided to do that in relation to my family. It's like stepping into parallel universes where it was unfolding in everyone's favor. And the amazing thing was, when I looked back 6 months later, all these wonderful things had happened for both my kids, each of them 6,000 miles away from each other. And it was this wonderful peak experience of them being happier than I'd ever seen. And the other thing that I remember from this experience was that I did this action and then I got distracted with other aspects of life and I forgot about it. So I wasn't there like on a moment-to-moment basis looking at what was going on in their lives. I just noticed later these things happened. And as I'm telling the story now, the thing I also remember is that with this one son's life, these different things collapsed, and it was just really a painful time. And I was not in a lot of contact. I saw him about once a week, and just noticed that out of great difficulty came some amazing moves forward. So it reminds me of the importance of stepping into it and releasing it, and then it unfolds, instead of keeping a watch on it, seeing if any changes have happened, seeing how they're doing now, because that's our manipulative selves. A lesson that I learned a long time ago was to step back, realize that my kids were treasure chests of infinite possibilities. And when I stepped back, they amazed me at what they created in their lives. So this is, about me and my kids, but it's also about you and people in your hologram who may or may not be behaving the way you think they should behave, or achieving what you think they should achieve, or doing what you think they should do, or whatever. Every person in your hologram, as young or old, left or right, any description, is also consciousness creating their reality. Even if they're operating with great unconsciousness, they're still consciousness. And the thing that I have found navigating this way is that people shift and change as I shift and change in my timeline, and some of them become completely different people in a good way, because this work is affirming that it's a benevolent universe. Working this way always unfolds in favorable ways. So if something's going on in your sphere of awareness, rather than trying to go out and fix it or change it, shift yourself into a different scenario. And that's not a geographic. It's energetically shifting yourself into a parallel universe where the flow is different. This work is very subtle, and yet it's incredibly profound. It's like a butterfly wing that creates a great gust of wind miles away. You take these steps and your rational mind is going, this is a bunch of hooey. And what it does is it redirects your life, reorganizes your life, and things unfold beyond your limited imagination. So if you like these videos, you can subscribe to them on YouTube. You can also sign up below to get them in your inbox. If you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I put out a weekly radio show and podcast talking about these things. I write a weekly blog and newsletter all about these things. And if you want to know more about how to navigate your life as consciousness, you can come to one of my meetups that I hold around the Puget Sound, attend one of my monthly webinars for people who don't live in this area. And if you want to gain mastery on how to live your life as consciousness, go to my website at joan-newcomb.com and look at my coaching programs. So go to joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you in another couple days with another Mystic Minute.